There are, maybe shockingly, some Republicans who are teaming up with Democrats to try to stop the US from entering this Israeli war with Iran. Thomas Massie, who sometimes does good things and then almost immediately undercuts the credit we give him afterward, he had tweeted, "This is not our war, but if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to co-sponsor this resolution," and he's right. Under Congress or under the Constitution, they're supposed to be in charge. I think it would be great if at least that part of the Constitution was still in effect in this dark time. Let's find out together if it is. But AOC signed on to that, which is good. Rashida Tlaib wants to invoke the war powers resolution. Ro Khanna, who's been pretty staunchly anti-war in most cases. He used to come on our show constantly to talk about what was happening in Yemen. And in the Senate, Bernie Sanders joined up with it as well, and Tim Kaine, and there are some other Republicans too. And so there have been efforts, Alex, in some of these past conflicts to invoke the war powers resolution. It's been a bill that it's existed for like, I think more than half a century at this point, and has basically proven to be worthless, like it's impossible to invoke or to bind the president by. But considering how many Republicans don't want to see us get involved in this conflict, maybe now it'll really be invoked. What do you think?
Not a chance in hell.
Not a chance.
No way. You really think that this Republican Congress is going to try to stop President Trump from doing what he wants, and especially to stop President Trump from doing what he wants to Iran against Israel? What political calculus do they have to do something like that? It seems impossible. And President Trump has been very clear that he is transactional in his support of everybody. And if anybody goes against him, he is happy to drop them in a second and make their life very, very difficult. It is also very clear that the Republican base is mostly with Trump, and it has nothing to do with what he stands for. A lot of it has to do with who he is and his own main character energy. And so do I think that the party is in favor of this as a whole? No. Do I think the party wants there to be a war? I think a lot of people don't. But do I think that the Republicans in Congress can be counted on to a majority of them stand up against the Donald Trump and join with AOC and Bernie Sanders as some sort of, good government effort? I don't see that happening. Thomas Massie has done that, a few times already, but I don't see many others joining. Do you?
Well, I mean, in this particular case, though, you'd only need a certain number of Republicans to join on with, I would assume, the vast majority of Democrats, not all of them. I mean, John Fetterman is like a massive fan of this. He makes Lindsey Graham look like a dove. But that said, at least in the House, I'm sure Mike Johnson could come up with all sorts of procedural stuff to stop it from coming to a vote. Look, I don't think it's super likely necessarily. But I would say we have been talking as a country recently about the taco theory of Trump, that Trump always chickens out. He has blinked in the past when like the financial markets turn against him. The polls could prove wildly against involvement. And if he thought his MAGA base was gonna reject him over this, well, he doesn't want that. And I feel like he has more of an attachment to that than to this conflict. Again, I agree with you. I don't think it's likely to go down in this particular way, but I hold out hope that he might blink.
Oh, I think that that's very possible. In fact, I think probably likely that Trump ends up pulling back himself because he hears from his base and because he sort of understands the dynamic. And frankly, I don't think Trump inherently wants war. I mean, he's been talking about that for many, many years. I think the concept of it, frankly, makes him uncomfortable. I mean, the guy who's known for the phrase "you're fired" doesn't like to fire people, right? I mean, he doesn't really like conflict, which is crazy with his public posture. So I don't think Trump wants to do this. I'm just saying I don't think the reason that he's not going to do it is because the Republican Party decides to, grow a spine and side with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and fight him. I just don't see that the way that it happens.
When you put it like that, it sounds unlikely. Yeah, no, definitely.